So today I am about to embark on a very interesting experience, and I wanted to talk about it before I go in. And then I want to talk about it when I come out too. So I thought it would be a good idea to do like a before and after video. And then tell a story in between. So I have in December, I moved back home. My hometown is Montgomery, Alabama. I moved back in December of I don't know who this is, but I just moved back in this December, right? So I'm here. And I recently, since I've been back home, it has been, the experience has been very surreal. It's been very um eye-opening, heart-opening, all of the openings. But I'm still working out actually being back here after being gone for 12 years, 11, 12 years. So I'm in this space. Not much has changed, but then again, a lot has changed too. So I don't really want to get into all that. Because there's so much to be said about this move. But what I want to say this morning is, so a lot of things have been happening since I moved back. A lot of new cycles have been beginning. So a lot of old cycles have closed. They gone. Old timelines closed. They're gone. They out of here. And I've been noticing new timelines emerging, new experiences emerging. Um so yeah, so example of that is today. So today I just started a new position. Um which is, I haven't worked a full-time position for anybody since 2020. So it's been about 6 years, right? Since I worked full-time for anybody. But when I moved here, when I first got here, I immediately was like, I'm just gonna kinda do what I was doing. And I quickly realized that I just can't do if what I was doing wasn't working for me where the fuck I was, it's not gonna work for me here. So, that's the thing. So the things that were already kind of winding themselves out of my life as far as like my what I'm doing, my daily routines and all of these things. When I moved, I really had to let the old routines and let the old patterns kind of die and fade away, finish their dying and fading away like they were already doing in the first place. So yeah, I haven't worked full time for anybody in 6 years since 2020. Because when my husband passed was in 2019, right? And after that, I really had PTSD with being away from my kids, um, with working. I was angry at the time. I remember being angry at the time about just working too much. Even being, one thing that I really hurt me at that time period was the fact that I was at work when what happened to him. And so I had this I've had, this PTSD around working and being in the being in the workplace for 8 hours a day. Now, mind you, I'm not set up for that shit anyway. I know I'm set up for um a work-life balance that truly speaks to the way that I like to mix things up. So I'm not a regular schedule would never work for me. But anyway, after this time period, um, during that time, I was all about work. I was all about climbing the corporate ladder. I was all about getting to the next level. I would do 10, 12, 14. I would do whatever the job needed for me to do at that time period. And after Marquez passed, I decided I would never do that shit again, and I won't. But I also decided that whatever I do, it has to be something that I love. It has to be something that I'm really gonna have fun with. And so I'm here. So that's 6 years, haven't worked. So when I got here, of course we have to, pay the bills. So we gotta take care of the family. Now, something that I have been, for me, I had to realize in this era of having PTSD from work, right? I was blessed to not have to work for my basic needs. Um, I was able to have things set to the side to where I didn't have to work for my basic needs. But I had got comfortable in this valley of lack, this valley of the bare minimum. That's been my life for a majority of the past 6 years. So me realizing that I'm really comfortable in this fucking valley of the bare minimum was also me realizing that, I was just holding myself back financially in a lot of ways. How? Because I was accepting the bare minimum. I didn't really want anything more. And all of that was, of course, tied to my emotional state and all of the things. So, shit, I didn't want anymore. Now I do though, right? So, what was I saying? Yes, I realized that I'm supposed to be here at 9 o'clock, y'all, but we got time. What was this? Yeah, so I realized that I was operating within the household on the scope. I was living in the valley of the bare minimum. I had, those basic needs were met, but they were barely met. And I was cutting it close on top of shit. So get here, of course, we have to pay our bills. We have to take care of our family. We have to do all the things. I have already been, emerging out of this space of lack. And one thing that helped me was just the identification identification is a motherfucker. Once you see it, and then when you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. So once I seen how comfortable I was in lack, and let me tell you one thing about it is I was comfortable in lack, but the lack shit is it wasn't. I was comfortable, but I was not happy. I wasn't happy. I was comfortable. Mm. I was comfortable, but you know what? Man, don't hit my car. So I was comfortable. I was gonna say, I don't know who he just pulling up like he just. Mm. So I was comfortable. I don't know if I was comfortable. I think I was just, faking the comfort. And what I thought was comfort was really just fucking depression. And, lack loves depression. Those two go together like peanut butter and jelly. Lack and depression, they are friends. Um, Say all that to say, I came here. I've always wanted to be within the hospitality industry. I've tried to get in plenty of times back in the city. I've tried getting in plenty of times back in the city. So I moved here and there's this new space that's opened in downtown Montgomery. It is a space like nothing else that's here. There's nothing that's been here. It is a place that echoes ancestral veneration. Now, this is something that I just realized yesterday during my orientation. Well, it came full circle during orientation yesterday. So I ended up, but it's the how did I get here part is because I love to, lately, I've been looking at my life. I've been playing observer and I've been playing, allowing life to feel like a game, which I do think it is. Um, But I've been allowing it to kind of feel like that. So waking up, choosing your character, maybe choosing the avatar attributes for the day. So I've been observing a lot. Taking conscious time to just, check in with what the hell has been going on with my day. What led to this led to what. So I've been sitting back and observing where the hell I am, how things are working. And for this one, let me see. How the hell did I get down here? My sister ended up telling me about this space. And I believe that I saw something on social media and I was kind of like, that's interesting. That's interesting. And I went to like look up the space. I'm a researcher. So I get on the internet, I go on the website, I look up this space. Is the Elevation Coding Center, right? I look up this space and I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is interesting. This is okay, okay. This is it feels different. It feels cool. It feels like somewhere where I would want to stay, go and visit. Not just only to stay at the hotel, but to visit, all of these beautiful things that are in the hotel that are highlighting the history of our people, our peoples. So, boom, I'm looking on the website. I say, what the hell? Now, I was in the midst of this. I'm also promoting my service business. I'm looking for clients within the space that I'm licensed in. With not much luck, because their infrastructure is just not here in the way that it was back in Georgia. So, I'm looking but not getting much ground there. So I see this and I apply for two positions. Now, one position I apply for, and the position that I got where I'm actually at is something I've always wanted to do, but I've never been able to get in the door to do it, because I don't have this specific, for whatever the hell reason, I haven't been able to get in the door, right? So I apply for these, I applied for this position. I applied for the position that I feel like I can get, but I really wanted the other one. And so it's interesting when I get there and I'm just like, I applied for this because I've applied for the other position before, um, at other establishments, but never was able to get in the door there. So I didn't even apply. This time I didn't even apply. This what happened. I didn't even apply. But I did apply to the position that I was, of course, on paper highly qualified for. So I go to the interview. Well, I apply for this, right? And then right after, I think it was like a couple of days later, my sister says, "Oh, they're having a job fair downtown." And I'm like, "Where?" And the job fair is at the place where I just put in my application. So I'm not sure. I just put in the application literally like 2 days ago. I'm gonna just, I'll go to the job fair and let the job fair be my interview, which that's kind of the purpose of the job fairs. But I definitely approached it like I had my application in already. This is going to be my interview. Beautiful. I don't have to wait on anybody to call me. I could just go and get my interview right on the spot at this job fair, right? So I go to the job fair. I interview with one of the chefs. I interview with the head chef in the head chef of banquets. The head chef in the hotel. Anyway, I'm interviewing with the chef. And she says, "Hey, let me see if the banquets girl can, the banquets manager, the head of the banquets, let me see if she can come over and interview you as well, because me and her work in tandem now." This is actually what I wanted. What I've always wanted. I wanted to be in banquets. I love the event. I wanted to be in banquets. I always loved event curation, right? So, and event styling and event schmoozing and all of those things. So, I've always wanted to be in banquets. So, when she said that, I was like, okay, okay. And so I end up, and we go, I get introduced to the head banquet manager and her and then I sit down and I interview with her. So I actually have 2 interviews in one day. And long story short, I ended up being called back for a supervisory position within the banquet center for the hotel. And that's what I'm going to be doing. Um, so that's that. Beautiful, right? Amazing, excited about it. I've always wanted to do it. Now, and it's definitely, I've always wanted to do it, and now I get to do it and I get to learn from like the best of the best in the industry. And not only that, I get to do it at a space. This is the beautiful part about it. This is what I wanted to tell y'all this morning. I get to do it at a space with people that not only look like me, but people that represent me as well. And within a building on ground that represents not only my legacy, but the legacy of my ancestors, my ancestors, my family, all the generations that have come through Montgomery, Alabama, the historicalness of the historicalness of the ground in which the building is on. I'm working through history, working within history, working to venerate a part of history for my people. So this space, if you know who Brian Stevenson is, right? He's the owner. I didn't know that till yesterday. So we're in the orientation and we're talking about the partners, and then we get to the owner's presentation, and Brian Stevenson is actually the owner. So I'm sitting down, and I'm feeling like empowered. I'm feeling, almost we were talking one point we were talking with the finance manager, black lady, and it felt heavy, but not in a sad way. It felt heavy in a responsible way. And I remember telling her, like, it feels like a responsibility to be here. It feels like, building legacy to be here. Do you feel the you just feel it in the room. You feel the vibe in the room of the ancestors just breaking through and walls being broken open. And as a Black woman, being able to be a part of the foundational growth of that space, because this space is new. Um, that's fucking priceless. And to be here, to be back, and to be able to be a part of that is, I really don't have the words for it. It kind of wants it really wants to makes me emotional, because it's just like, wow, God chose me to be here for this. And had I not had I not been here now, being here now, been in this space, I would not be able to have this experience, which is very significant. So, this space, this beautiful space that Mr. Stevenson has built, if you don't know who that is, look him up. But Black philanthropist, lawyer, um, that guy, Mr. Stevenson, he's built this space that is paying homage to all of the legacy sites within Montgomery, to the journey then, to the journey that we're still in today, right now. And I feel like it is a way to say, we are here. We are still here. We're not going anywhere. Our stories are valid. And from our stories, not only are our stories valid, but the things that we have to, I don't say have to, but the things that that we go through as Black people, the things we are subject to as Black people within this country, especially in the South, and wherever you at. But in the South, should be a little different down here. Um, in this space is kind of saying we haven't forgot. We haven't forgot. We see what y'all doing, and I really love being a part of a space that highlights the past, present, and beautiful future of what it means to be Black in this country and Black in the South. So I realized yesterday that I did not just step into a new job role. I stepped into ancestral veneration. I stepped into a path that my ancestors have taken. I am stepping into the one interesting thing about the hotel is that there's a bridge that goes, there's like a crossway between one side to the other side. And the road that goes between this crossway is the same road that people walked from during the Selma to Montgomery March during the bus boycott. So, and it's very intentionally made like that. Everything about this space is intentionally laid out right. And so you're walking over history. You're walking with history. You're walking, that's me. I'm walking with my grandma, my great grandma, who I'm sure if they weren't right there, if they weren't, I'm pretty sure my mom tells stories of their, downtown watching that march. So it's like literally walking in the footsteps of your people and being able to, I'm just telling you, if being able to be in a space like that and make money, I feel like it's a win-win for me. And I'm really grateful that, God knows your heart. So God knows that I want to uh, God knows that I want to legacy is important for me. Impact is important. Being able to spend my time doing something that is impactful, that means something, that I feel like means something, it is priceless. Because we live in a world where you got bills and all that shit. So some type of we gotta make this. We make this money. We do things to make this money. Not everybody's lucky to find something to be able to be on the timeline where they're making money doing something that they love to do. And to do something that they feel like they're not doing it is not just for you, it's for other people too. So yeah, it feels heavy. Today, and I'm about to go in. So today, as part of our orientation, we are visiting the legacy sites in Montgomery. Today, we are assigned to visit the Legacy Museum. I've never been, it's right behind me. I've never been to the Legacy Museum. This space highlights how lynching has turned into mass incarceration within the state of Alabama, within the South. And it tells the story of how the ideals stay the same, but the methods change when it comes to, racism. It goes back to when I think about that, I think about the police force. I think about Jim Crow laws. And one thing leads to the next and leads to the next. But they're all about keeping the nigga out the streets, keeping the black man down, making sure they put us in our place, breaking up the black home, especially with mass incarceration, breaking up the black home. So I'm interested to see what all is highlighted. Say a prayer before I go in because I know things are going to be heavy. And kind of like the feeling yesterday, and then there's all this black art all around the space. You can't even call it a hotel, really. But so it's all this black art all around the space. There's a library, there's a theater. Baby, it's luxury. It's black luxury, and I love it. 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 So yes, I'm about to go in here. I'm about to go in. And I know it's gonna be heavy. Um, let's see on the front, you have it says hope, truth, mercy, and justice. Hope, truth, mercy, and justice. So I wanted to talk to y'all before I went in. And then when I come out, I'm going to come back and talk again and share with you all my experience. Until then, my friends, I'll see y'all.